Hi everyone, it is Kimber, the study abroad specialist here. And in this week's video, we are going to be talking about the value and worth of study abroad after the pandemic. So as I was trying to begin thinking about where I wanted to start this video and kind of go with it, I definitely just want to say that I hope that everyone out there is still being safe, taking care of themselves, but hopefully you're back to some range of normal. I know that there are some colleges and universities in certain countries, certain places that are back fully in person, and then others that are still online. So whatever you're doing right now, hopefully it is working out for you, and hopefully things will keep moving along as we get through the rest of this year and as we move into 2022. But in thinking specifically towards study abroad for 2022, 2023, and a little bit beyond, I think probably just kind of starting with 2022 and maybe thinking about 2023 a little bit. I know that as students start to sort of look at study abroad options, it can be a little bit overwhelming because there's so many different things happening. And so I'm not going to go into the specific details of what study abroad might look like. If you are interested in that, I did a video on that a couple weeks ago. I've linked it down below to just kind of give you some ideas of what you might be facing if you want to study abroad in 2022 or 2023 specifically, as we sort of transition hopefully out of the pandemic. But in sort of thinking about what's going to be important and what the worth is of study abroad, I know that this is something that I've been seeing quite a bit in academic journals and in different articles where, people are starting to talk about it again and say, well, is this really worth it? Of course, considering you may have to go through additional things now that we are, kind of in a transitioning out of COVID. And so it may not look how it would have looked in 2019. And so I personally think it's worth it, not just because my business is related to it or because it was a positive experience for me, but I think that it is still worth it, even if you have to go through those extra hoops. And we're just going to talk through some of the reasons why it is worth it. So the very first reason why I would say that it is worth it to consider studying abroad after the pandemic or on the tail end of the pandemic is you want to be able to have a space to continue working on your interpersonal skills. I think that we can probably all agree that to a certain extent, interpersonal skills have kind of, they've definitely had a strain over this past however long it's been. It feels like it's been 10 years, this past, 18, 19 months or so. And so I think that it's going to be very important. As I was saying at the top of the video, there are some students, I know high school students, college or university students, even graduate students who are back now fully in person. It may look different for a lot of people, but that is great because at least it gives you a chance to interact with people. But I know for so many of you out there who are still on Zoom and in Google Rooms and in Skype and whatever you've had to do to get your classes, how hard this is. And it's been hard for everybody on certain levels, but I think particularly in those formative years, if you are in school and you're trying to make connections with people, this has been very difficult. We know that it's been difficult for the younger kids. It's been very weird for them because they're like, they don't even a lot of times like have the context to understand how to build relationships. But particularly for like the high school crowd, the college crowd, the graduate school crowd, as you're starting to sort of grow and you're starting to look towards your career and further developing who you are as an individual, this is the key time. And so anyone who has been in school throughout this time, how hard it has been. And so I think that using study abroad to sort of continue growing your interpersonal skills is going to be really important after the pandemic, or I'll say at least in 2022 and 2023 beyond. I think that it's going to be a good way to do it because you're most likely going to be around a variety of people if you do a study abroad program. So it doesn't matter whether you are coming to a place like the US or you're going to Canada or you're going to the UK, Italy, Asia, Middle East. It doesn't matter where you're going. You're going to be around lots of different types of people. And it's also a good way to just, kind of reconnect with people learn how to sort of recommunicate in person directly. And I think that this is something that actually can bring people together in a way. I know that that is kind of a strange way of thinking about it, but it's something that everyone is working on. I know that just in my personal life, even, I mean, like, where I kind of am, we're kind of transitioning to doing things in person. We have been for quite some time. But one of the most interesting things for me is when you actually meet someone for the first time and you're deciding what you want to do. Now, for me personally, I don't mind still shaking hands with people. That has never been an issue for me. Maybe not when COVID first started, but now I feel fine with it. But I'm always trying to figure out, like, it's sort of like the dance, right? Of like, do I put my hand out there and then get it rejected? Or it's like, I typically let the person do it. So it's like, I'll typically like sort of move my hand towards, and then like, I can sort of tell like if they feel comfortable or not. But it's little things like that that we would have probably never thought that would be an issue. And that's a part of communication. I mean, I personally judge people on their handshakes. I know that's probably really bad. But it's, if you know anything about handshake science, it says a lot about a person. But I think that it's just little things about that, or just about how to communicate with people. I know that even if you're sitting in a classroom, kind of the interactions between people, getting used to that again and what that looks like and how you have discussions, because that's completely different than what you would have done online. So I feel that there is so much value in being able to study abroad, particularly because, again, you're going to be able to be around so many different types of people, and you're going to have those certain challenges in place anyway, of sort of getting started with your program and getting involved and getting engaged with the culture. That's just going to help you to further develop those interpersonal skills that you're going to need as you move forward in your career. I mean, as we know, as crazy as 2020 and 2021 has been, it is a snapshot in time. It will not last forever. And you're going to need to continue building on those skills. So I would say, for that reason, for the first reason, that study abroad is definitely worth it in 2022 and beyond. So the second reason I would say that study abroad is worth it in 2022 or beyond is it's going to give you a chance to either further expand on your passions and what you enjoy doing or what you're interested in, or it can help you to develop new skills. So I know probably throughout the time of your, quarantine period, or during this entire sort of, global thing that we've been going through, you probably had developed some new skills. So maybe you've been working on a new language. Maybe you have discovered that you love art history. Maybe you have become the best bread baker in the world and you want to, go to France or something and figure out how to do that on a professional level. Like, there are so many things that people have sort of been able to turn negative into a positive throughout this period. And I think that if you are a student and you're looking for a way to sort of enhance that and either take it to the next level, even if it's just for hobby's sake, or if you're just looking to dive deeper into it, that study abroad can really help you with that, because it's just going to give you an opportunity to, explore it, in a different place. Like I was saying, you can go like right to the source. So if you're interested in, fashion or art or something like that, you do like Florence or France. If you're interested in, maybe you become like this master barbecue person, maybe you want to come and study abroad in Texas, something like that. I mean, there's all different types of things, but I think that all of these kind of new skill sets that I've heard people talk about, if you're a student right now and you're looking of, how can you apply what you've learned, even if it's a small thing, to your future career or to something that can help you in the future, I think that sort of applying that to a study abroad program and seeing how you can maximize it in real life is going to be really helpful for you. So I would say that that is definitely the number 2 reason why it is worth it. Now, I know that particularly from a price standpoint, that is something that people are thinking about. And of course, it was something that people thought about even before the pandemic. But I think that it is really just about being able to find what program is going to work for you. In a video coming up, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that. I talk about that all the time, but I'm going to just just be breaking it down a bit more. If you are interested in getting some help with your study abroad planning, I do offer low cost advising sessions. They start at $25 US, and then they go up from there if you want to work long term. But if you aren't interested, go ahead and you can either follow the link that's on the screen, or if you just clicked out into the description, you can click on the link that sort of tells you more about that, and you can see my schedule as well. But I wanted to put that out there because I know that, thinking about cost is a huge part of it, and a huge part of figuring out, what the cost is and how that's going to work is figuring out what the program that is going to be best for you, most viable for you. So I definitely want to sort of put that plug in there and just let you know that I am here to help whenever you need it. So for number 3, and I wanted to say that I know that, in other videos, I talk about some of the same key points, but I think that there's a lot of overlap, because particularly sort of coming out of everything we've just been through, like these points are kind of even more poignant. So it's like, if we would have been talking about this in 2017, 2018, 2019, the first couple months of 2020, they would have still been important. But I think, as we probably know, you've probably had friends who have had to move away now for jobs. Maybe you have some friends, unfortunately, who are, maybe they are coming out of grad school and they're still unemployed. We know that some kids have had to step away from school. It's just a little bit too expensive right now. And so this is one of those big shift moments. I mean, I'm a millennial, and so I am basically a student of the Great Recession. And so I actually graduated in 2009. So it was like at the height of the Great Recession. And so I was very fortunate that I was already heading off to grad school anyway. So I already had a plan. But I think that, we're kind of seeing that again, where it's like this next generation, kind of the late millennials, early Gen Zers, they're in that same place where there's so much upheaval, and it's like you don't know what direction to quite take. You don't know, for economic reasons, for career reasons, you don't know if you're going to have to move somewhere else. You don't know if you should put school off for even 6 months. Like, what is it going to look like? So I totally understand sort of, kind of what's going on in the market out there. And I think that, just thinking through these tips, that it's important to sort of keep them just in your frontal lobe as you go through. And so for number 3, this is about, how study abroad can really help with your professional and personal networks. Personal and professional networks have always been important, but I think now, as I was saying, as things continue to shift, and you never know where an opportunity is going to find you, unfortunately. And so it's like you want to definitely put yourself in the best position, and an opportunity to study abroad, to get a chance to do that, is only going to help you a bit more, because again, it opens up another door. So maybe you have been on campus for the past 2 years, and you've been going through your program and you're ready for a little bit of a change. You want to be able to meet some new people. Consider studying abroad for a semester, or even if it's just for Maymester or for the summertime, something like that, just so that you get to meet more people. The more people that you meet, the more opportunities that you have. I always like to say that. And I always like to put in the caveat that just because you're meeting people, it doesn't mean that you want to just use them for things. That is not what is recommended, but it's more about that you have another chance. Every time you meet someone, that is a chance to, maybe, get to hear about an opportunity, or to just make a great friend that you wouldn't have made before. And of course, you can do that anywhere. But I think that with study abroad particularly, it's going to give you that structure of being able to do it, in a place you automatically have common ground with the person that you're meeting with, or the person that you're interacting with, because you're in the same program, or maybe you're just studying abroad at the same time. If you are a part of the Live Study Learn Association, obviously that we have members from all around the world who are studying abroad at the same time. And that was one of my motivations for making the association, is because when I was studying abroad, I didn't have anything like that. Obviously, I had friends in my program, but I wanted to meet more people. And so there's something in the power of everyone kind of having a common shared goal. And, maybe your goal when you study abroad coming up in 2022, 2023 is just to say, like, I actually just want to travel somewhere. I totally understand that. I think we all right now have the travel bug. I cannot wait to travel in these upcoming months finally. But I think that no matter what your kind of goals are, that this can only help you. I think that now is a prime time. If you hadn't thought about study abroad, definitely consider it. It can only help enhance your future as we sort of move through this weird time where, careers are going all over the place, school environments are changing. You definitely want to put your best foot forward so that you can be in the best position possible for whatever you're looking to do in the future. Okay, and so that is it for this week's video. I hope that these tips have given you something to think about. If you are planning to study abroad in 2022, go ahead and leave a comment below specifically for 2022. I want to hear, what is your program planning on doing? What have you heard about it so far? Where are you in the process? And, how did you sort of decide to go ahead and move forward with study abroad in 2022? Because I know that there are a lot of students out there who, maybe they're in their second year of university or in their sophomore year of college, and they're like, I'm just gonna wait it out and just maybe try for senior year because I want to get the full experience. But for students who are planning to graduate soon or just want to go ahead and do it, they're moving forward with it. And so I'm really inspired and look forward to hearing more about the plans for 2022 in particular. So go ahead and leave a comment, and you can leave a comment even if you're not studying abroad in 2022. So be sure to leave a comment, be sure to like this video, and also subscribe and share this video with someone that you know. I know that most people who are studying abroad know other people who are studying abroad and they're interested in studying abroad. So I want them to get this information as well. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.